Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the computer screen in her lab. The numbers did not make sense. For 3 months, she had been working on a new energy source. But every time she got close to something big, the data would change overnight. It was like someone was watching her work and stopping her progress. She was not the only one with this problem. Scientists all over Earth were facing the same thing. They would make a breakthrough, then hit a wall they could not explain. Sarah had started to notice a pattern. The walls always appeared when their work got too advanced. In space, far above Earth, Admiral Zextai stood on the bridge of his massive ship. The ship was so large it could hold a small city. His people, the Vextai, had pale blue skin and 4 arms. They had been watching Earth for over 400 years. "Report," Zextai said to his officer. "The humans are advancing again, sir. Their quantum research is moving too fast. Dr. Chen in particular is getting close to real energy manipulation." Zextai made a sound of anger. "Send the signal to our agents on the surface. Slow her down. Use the usual methods. Rest." The usual methods meant changing data, creating equipment failures, and making key researchers sick or distracted. The Galactic Hegemony Council had been doing this to humans for centuries. They told themselves it was for the good of the galaxy. Humans came from Earth, which the aliens called a death world. Earth had diseases, predators, and weather that would kill most alien species in minutes. Humans had survived all of it. They had even thrived. This made them dangerous. The Hegemony Council was made up of 47 alien species. They had learned long ago that species from death worlds were too violent and unpredictable. When they found such species, they had 2 choices: destroy them or control them. With humans, they chose control. For 4 centuries, alien agents had lived among humans. They looked human, but were not. They became teachers, politicians, and scientists. They fed humans just enough technology to keep them busy, but not enough to be truly dangerous. The humans thought they were alone in the universe. They had no idea that above their heads, millions of alien ships came and went every day. The aliens took what they wanted from Earth: rare metals, biological samples, and art. They gave nothing back, except the illusion of progress. But control was getting harder. Marcus Williams sat in a bar in Chicago, nursing his beer. He was a former Navy SEAL, with scars on his hands and a mind that never stopped thinking about tactics. To most people, he looked like a regular guy having a drink after work. But Marcus was part of something secret. He was a member of the Watchers. The Watchers were humans who had figured out the truth. There were only 300 of them worldwide, and they had to be very careful. The aliens had eyes everywhere. But the Watchers had been gathering evidence for 50 years. Marcus checked his watch. In 10 minutes, he would meet another Watcher. They would share information and plan their next move. The Watchers knew they were not strong enough to fight the aliens directly, but they could prepare for the day when humanity would need to fight. His phone buzzed. A text message: "Package delivered to school." That was code. Another Watcher had successfully hidden a cache of weapons and supplies. The Watchers had been doing this for decades, storing equipment in secret locations all over the world. Back in her lab, Sarah was working late again. She lived alone and had no family, which made her work her whole life. Tonight felt different, though. She had discovered something in her research that scared her. The energy readings she was seeing were not natural. They looked like they came from technology far more advanced than anything humans had. But that was impossible unless someone else was already using this technology. She pulled up older research files from other scientists. After hours of searching, she found the same strange energy signatures in dozens of other projects. All over the world, scientists were detecting technology that should not exist. Sarah made a decision. She copied all her data onto a secure drive and prepared to send it to a list of colleagues. If she was right, this would change everything. Meanwhile, in the Hegemony Command Center above Earth, alarms started going off. "Sir," an officer called to Admiral HFY. "We are detecting unauthorized data transmission from Dr. Chen's location. She is sending classified energy research to multiple recipients." HFY's 4 hands formed fists. "Unknown, sir, but the transmission includes energy signatures from our ship's engines." This was bad. If humans started to understand that advanced technology was already on their planet, they would start asking questions. And humans were very good at finding answers when they asked questions. HFY activated his communication system and contacted the Hegemony Council. Representatives from 47 species appeared on his screen as holograms. "Fellow council members," HFY began, "the human problem is getting worse. They are detecting our technology. Dr. Chen has shared this information with other scientists. We may have a security breach." A reptilian alien named Korth spoke first. "Then we activate Final Protocol. We end this now." "Final Protocol has never been used," said another alien. "Are we certain?" HFY looked at the data streaming from Earth. Human population was now over 12 billion. They had weapons that could destroy cities. They had started building better computers and faster ships. Every year, controlling them got harder. "Yes," he said, "Final Protocol is authorized. We will stage an invasion, then present ourselves as saviors. Once we have military bases on Earth, we will never have to hide again." The vote was unanimous. Sarah sat in her apartment, unaware that her message had doomed her species to war. She had no idea that in space above her, the largest military force in the galaxy was preparing to attack her world. The sleeping giant was about to be awakened, but first, it would have to survive. The attack came at dawn on a Tuesday. Sarah was drinking coffee when the sky lit up with explosions. Through her window, she could see strange ships firing bright beams at the city center. The ships looked like nothing humans had ever built. They were smooth and curved, moving without any visible engines. News reports flooded every channel. Cities around the world were under attack. London, Tokyo, New York, Moscow, all of them were burning. The alien ships seemed unstoppable. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the attack stopped. New ships appeared in the sky. These ones were different, larger, and shinier. They began firing at the attacking ships. Explosions filled the sky as the 2 groups of aliens fought above human heads. After an hour, the attacking ships were destroyed or fleeing. The larger ships landed in major cities around the world. Tall, graceful aliens emerged from them. They looked almost human, but with longer limbs and golden skin. The leader of these new aliens spoke to the world through every television and radio. His voice was calm and kind. "People of Earth, we are the Hegemony Council. We have come to save you from the Krix Empire, who attacked your world today. We apologize for arriving late. We have been fighting the Krix across the galaxy for many years." Sarah watched the broadcast with growing suspicion. Something felt wrong about the whole situation. The alien continued. "We know this is shocking for you. You thought you were alone in the universe. But you are not. There are many species among the stars. Some, like us, want peace. Others, like the Krix, want only to destroy and conquer." Marcus Williams was not watching the broadcast. He was in a basement bunker in Chicago with 5 other watchers. They had been preparing for this day for 50 years. "It is a lie," he said, checking his weapons. "All of it. Both sets of ships belong to the same aliens. I have seen the energy signatures before." Another watcher, an old woman named Joan, pulled up files on her computer. The attacking ships were using holographic projections. Real ships do not explode that cleanly. And look at this. She showed them thermal readings. The damage to the city is superficial. They avoided all critical infrastructure. Marcus nodded. They want us grateful and dependent. This is a takeover disguised as a rescue. Outside, people were celebrating. The aliens had saved them from destruction. They were not alone in the universe. Many humans wept with joy and relief. But not all humans were fooled. In her lab, Sarah was running analysis on the energy signatures she had recorded during the battle. Her computers confirmed what she suspected. Both groups of ships were using the same technology. The same technology she had been detecting in her experiments for months. She grabbed her secure communication device and sent a message to the list of scientists she had contacted before. This is all fake. Both sides are the same aliens. Check your energy readings. Responses came back quickly. Scientists in 12 countries confirmed the same thing. The battle had been staged. On the television, the golden-skinned alien was still talking. We will establish bases on your world to protect you. Our soldiers will work with your governments to ensure the Cricks never return. We know this is difficult, but you are now part of the galactic community. Joan stood up in the bunker. Time to wake up the world. She activated a hidden transmitter that sent a signal to watcher cells around the globe. All over Earth, hidden caches opened. Weapons emerged from secret storage. Computer systems that had been dormant for decades came online. The watchers began broadcasting the truth on every frequency they could access. Marcus stepped in front of a camera. My name is Marcus Williams. I am speaking for the Watchers, humans who have known the truth for 50 years. Today's attack was fake. Both sets of ships belong to the Galactic Hegemony Council. They have been controlling our planet for 4 centuries. The broadcast continued. The aliens have been living among us, disguised as humans. They have been stealing our resources and limiting our technology. They decided to reveal themselves because we were getting too advanced for them to control. Sarah was among the first scientists to confirm the broadcast. She appeared on news channels around the world, showing her energy readings as proof. But not everyone believed them. Many humans were too grateful to be saved to question their saviors. Others thought the Watchers were conspiracy theorists or terrorists. The Golden Aliens encouraged this view. Admiral Kethvar, leader of the rescue fleet, held press conferences with world leaders. He was handsome by human standards, with a kind face and gentle manner. Some of your people spread lies about us, he said sadly. We understand their fear. It is natural to be suspicious when your world changes so quickly. But we are here to help. The Watchers they speak of are terrorists who would see your world burn rather than accept our protection. 3 days after the fake invasion, hegemony soldiers began patrolling human cities. They said it was for protection, but Marcus and the other Watchers knew better. In secret bases around the world, the Watchers prepared for war. Joan showed Marcus something that made his blood run cold. I have been analyzing the hegemony's communication signals. They are not just taking over Earth. They are planning to use our population as soldiers. What do you mean? Humans from Deathworlds make the best fighters in the galaxy. They want to turn us into their army and use us to conquer other species. Marcus studied the intelligence reports. Humans were being recruited for galactic service. The aliens made it sound like an honor, but the Watchers knew it was slavery. That night, the hegemony made their first mistake. A group of their soldiers tried to arrest Dr. Sarah Chen. They said she was spreading dangerous lies about their peaceful mission, but Sarah was ready for them. Hidden cameras recorded everything as the peaceful aliens used weapons to stun her and drag her away. The footage spread across the internet before the hegemony could stop it. For the first time, regular humans saw their saviors use violence against one of their own. Marcus smiled as he watched the footage spread. Now they will start to see the truth. The aliens tried to explain that Dr. Chen was dangerous, that she was working with terrorists. But the damage was done. Humans around the world began asking hard questions about their new protectors. In space, Admiral Zexhai received reports that the operation was failing. Too many humans were becoming suspicious. The false flag attack had not created enough gratitude and fear. "Sir," his officer reported, "resistance cells are forming in major cities. The Watchers are better organized than we thought, and the humans are adapting to our presence faster than predicted. Sir." Oliver. "Sir." Zexhai made a decision that would haunt him forever. The kill order came at midnight. Hegemony soldiers across Earth received the same message. Peaceful integration has failed. Begin suppression protocol. Use lethal force to establish control. Marcus Williams was in his bunker when the reports started flooding in. Hegemony troops were attacking civilian populations in major cities. They were no longer pretending to be peaceful protectors. "Beijing is burning," Joan reported from her computer station. "They hit a school first. 300 kids dead." Marcus felt something cold and hard settle in his chest. These aliens had just made the worst mistake in galactic history. They had killed human children. Around the world, other Watcher cells were receiving the same horrible reports. The aliens were showing their true nature, but they had no idea what they had just unleashed. Sarah Chen had escaped from alien custody when their transport ship crashed during the first wave of attacks. She was hiding in the ruins of her laboratory, trying to contact other scientists. Her computer still worked, and she had access to the research data she had been collecting. For months, she had been studying alien technology without knowing it. Now, she understood what she was looking at. She sent a message to every scientist she could reach. Their weapons work on plasma field manipulation. Their ships use quantum displacement drives. I know how to build counters for both. Why? John quote. In London, a 12-year-old girl named Emma watched hegemony soldiers shoot her father as he tried to protect their family. The soldiers thought she would run or hide. Instead, she remembered her history lessons about World War II. Emma went to the garage and found her father's tools. She knew about pressure plates from science class. She spent the rest of the night building something deadly. When the soldiers returned the next morning to clear out survivors, Emma's improvised bomb killed 6 of them. The explosion was caught on a security camera that still worked. The footage spread across the internet in hours. A human child had killed trained alien warriors, using nothing but household materials and determination. Marcus saw the video and smiled grimly. They have no idea what we are capable of. The hegemony soldiers were learning this lesson the hard way. They came from species that had evolved on peaceful worlds. They had never faced real predators or natural disasters. Most had never experienced violence before joining the military. Humans were different. Humans came from a world that had tried to kill them for millions of years. Every human carried the genetic memory of 10,000 generations of survivors. When the aliens attacked human civilians, they expected fear and surrender. Instead, they got fury and resistance. In New York, office workers used their knowledge of building layouts to set traps for alien patrols. In Moscow, factory workers built weapons from industrial equipment. In Tokyo, civilians used their understanding of electronics to disrupt alien communications. But the real surprise came when the Watchers activated their hidden technology. For 50 years, the Watchers had been reverse engineering alien technology from crashed ships and captured equipment. They had built weapons, vehicles, and communication systems based on alien designs but improved with human engineering. When Marcus gave the activation signal, Watcher bases around the world came alive. Hidden factories began producing weapons at a rate that shocked the aliens. Human manufacturing capacity, designed for a world economy of 12 billion people, was turned toward war production. In underground bunkers, Watcher scientists worked with Dr. Chen's data to build countermeasures for alien technology. They discovered that alien plasma weapons had a critical weakness. They could be overloaded with the right electromagnetic pulse. Within 72 hours of the kill order, Every human resistance cell had weapons that could destroy hegemony equipment. Admiral HFY received reports that made no sense to him. "Sir, the humans are fighting back, with weapons that match our technology level. How is this possible?" "Impossible," HFY replied. "They are a primitive species. We have kept them primitive for centuries. Sir, respectfully, we appear to have been wrong about that." The truth was becoming clear to the hegemony forces on Earth. Humans were not primitive, they were just patient. In space, other alien species were watching the conflict with growing alarm. The Hegemony Council had told them that humans were under control. Instead, they were seeing the most terrifying military resistance in galactic history. Marcus led the first successful assault on a hegemony base 3 days after the attacks began. His team of 30 humans destroyed a facility defended by 300 alien soldiers. The key was understanding how the aliens thought. They came from peaceful worlds where conflicts were rare and usually solved through negotiation. They had no experience with human tactical thinking. Humans, on the other hand, had spent their entire history fighting wars against each other. They understood concepts like psychological warfare, asymmetric tactics, and total war commitment. When alien soldiers expected a frontal assault, humans attacked from below through sewer systems. When aliens fortified buildings, humans brought them down with explosives. When aliens tried to negotiate, humans used the talks as cover for infiltration. Dr. Chen's breakthrough came on the 4th day of fighting. She had been working around the clock to understand alien, faster-than-light communication technology. "Marcus," she called over the radio, "I have cracked their command codes. I can intercept their communications and even send false orders. Can you find out where they come from? Better than that, I can access their star charts. I know the location of every hegemony world in this sector." This information changed everything. Sarah uploaded the star charts to every human resistance cell. For the first time, humans knew where their enemies lived. But the most shocking discovery was yet to come. In the captured alien database, Sarah found historical records. The hegemony had done this before, to dozens of other species. Most had been destroyed. A few had been enslaved and used as soldiers against other worlds. "Marcus, you need to see this," Sarah said over the radio. "We are not the first species they have tried to control. They have been doing this for thousands of years." "How many others?" "The records show at least 23 species are currently under hegemony control. And Marcus, some of them are from Deathworlds like Earth." Marcus felt something new growing inside him. It was not just anger anymore. It was purpose. The aliens had made a simple mistake. They thought controlling humans meant stopping their technology, but they had never controlled the human spirit. Now that spirit was awake, and it was very, very angry. "Sarah," Marcus said, "can you track their command ships?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because we are not just fighting for Earth anymore. We are fighting for every species these monsters have enslaved." Above Earth, Admiral HFY was learning that you should never corner a predator unless you are prepared to kill it. And the hegemony was not prepared for what humans could become when their children were threatened. The war for Earth was just beginning. But in the depths of space, other enslaved species were beginning to receive strange radio transmissions from a small blue planet. The messages were simple. "This is humanity. We are coming to help. Hold on." 3 weeks after the hegemony revealed themselves, humans captured their first alien starship. It happened over the Pacific Ocean when Marcus Williams led a coordinated attack on a damaged hegemony cruiser. The ship had been crippled by human surface-to-air missiles, but it was still functional. "Remember," Marcus told his assault team as they approached the ship in stolen alien shuttles, "we need it intact. Sarah needs to study their systems." The assault took 6 hours. Human soldiers fought through corridors designed for aliens, using tactics the enemy could not understand. When it was over, 30 humans had captured a ship meant to hold 3,000 aliens. Dr. Sarah Chen was aboard the ship within hours. What she found changed everything. "Marcus," she called excitedly from the ship's computer core. "This is incredible. Their technology is not as advanced as we thought. In some ways, it is actually worse than ours." "What do you mean?" "They never had to innovate. Their species evolved on easy worlds, so they never developed the problem-solving skills that humans have. Most of their technology was stolen from other species they conquered." Sarah showed him the alien database. Ship designs, weapons, even their faster-than-light travel. Most of it came from species the hegemony had destroyed or enslaved. "They are not inventors," Sarah continued. "They are collectors. They take what others build and use it to conquer more worlds." But the most important discovery was the navigation system. Sarah now had the exact location of every hegemony world, including their capital. "We can reach their home system in 2 weeks if we use this ship," she told Marcus. Marcus looked at the star charts, showing alien worlds across the galaxy. "No, we are not going to their capital yet. First, we are going to find the other enslaved species." Sarah pulled up another section of the database. "According to this, there are 23 species currently under hegemony control. Some have been slaves for over 1,000 years. The first liberated world was called Kethmar. It was 3 days from Earth, using the captured alien ship. The planet was home to a species called the Kethani, who had been enslaved for 600 years. Admiral Marcus Williams. He had given himself the promotion, led the liberation fleet personally. 12 captured alien ships, all crewed by humans, who had learned to fly them in less than a week. The hegemony garrison on Kethmar was expecting supplies and reinforcements. Instead, they got human warriors broadcasting a message in their own language. "This is humanity. We are here to set you free." The battle for Kethmar lasted 2 days. The hegemony had never faced coordinated resistance from multiple species at once. When the Kethani realized that aliens from another world had come to help them, they rose up against their oppressors. The Kethani were natural engineers who had been forced to build weapons for the hegemony. When they turned those weapons against their captors, the result was devastating. Dr. Chen worked with Kethani scientists to share human tactical knowledge and technology improvements. The combination of human innovation and Kethani engineering created weapons that surprised both species with their effectiveness. News of the liberation spread across the galaxy faster than the hegemony could stop it. Enslaved species on dozens of worlds heard that someone was fighting back. Someone was winning. Admiral HFY was no longer in charge of Earth operations. He had been recalled to the hegemony capital to explain how humans had captured 12 of his ships and escaped into space. "You told us they were primitive," the council leader accused him. "You said they could be controlled, like livestock." "They were primitive," HFY insisted. "Somehow they have advanced centuries in just weeks. It is impossible." HFY. "Clearly, it is not impossible. They are liberating our slave worlds. They have formed alliances with species that have served us for generations. 3 council member species have already withdrawn their forces rather than face human retaliation." The truth was that the galaxy was learning what humans were really capable of. The hegemony had spent so much time controlling human technology that they had never studied human psychology. Humans did not just fight to win, they fought to protect others. When they learned about the enslaved species, their motivation changed from survival to rescue. The second liberated world was Vexta, home to a species of natural pilots called the Vextai. They had been forced to fly ships for the hegemony fleet for 800 years. When human liberation forces arrived, the Vextai did something unprecedented in their history. They turned their ships against the hegemony command vessels and joined the human fleet. "Why did you help us?" Admiral Williams asked the Vextai fleet commander. "Because you are the first species in our memory to fight for others instead of yourselves," the alien replied. "Our myths speak of warriors who would travel across the stars to free the enslaved. We thought they were just stories. By the end of the first month, human liberation fleets had freed 7 worlds. The freed species did not just thank humanity and go home. They joined the fight. The galaxy was seeing something it had never experienced before. A coalition of different species working together by choice rather than force. Sarah Chen had become humanity's chief diplomat, working to coordinate the growing alliance. She discovered that each species brought unique skills to the coalition. The Kethani were master engineers. The Vextai were incredible pilots. The Mordan, from the Third Liberated World, were natural tacticians who understood warfare almost as well as humans. "We are not building an empire," Sarah explained to the Council of Freed Worlds. "We are building a family." But not all news was good. Reports reached the Liberation Fleet that the hegemony was preparing something called the Omega Protocol. According to captured intelligence, it was a weapon system hidden throughout the galaxy. Dr. Chen worked day and night to understand what they were facing. "Marcus," she finally called him to the science lab, "I have figured out what Omega Protocol is. It is not just one weapon. It is hundreds of weapons, hidden on planets throughout the galaxy." "What kind of weapons?" "Planet killers. Each one can sterilize an entire world of all life. The hegemony built them as a last resort if they ever lost control of the galaxy." Marcus felt cold fear for the first time since the war began. "How many?" "According to this data, there are Omega weapons on or near every inhabited world in the galaxy, including Earth." The Liberation Fleet was 2 weeks away from the hegemony capital when they received Admiral Zexhai's final transmission. "Humans of Earth and all enslaved species," his voice came through clearly. "You have 72 hours before we activate Omega Protocol. Every world that has rebelled against us will be cleansed of life. Surrender now, and we will allow your species to survive as slaves." Marcus looked around the bridge at his mixed crew of humans and aliens. Representatives of 12 different species stood together, united in their determination to be free. "Send a reply," Marcus told his communications officer. "What should I say?" Marcus smiled grimly. "Tell them that Deathworlders do not surrender. Tell them we are coming for them, and we are bringing friends." The final battle was about to begin. But this time, humanity would not be fighting alone. 72 hours to save the galaxy. Admiral Marcus Williams stood in the command center of humanity's flagship, surrounded by aliens who had become his trusted allies. The Kethani engineer Veltar worked alongside Dr. Sarah Chen to find a solution. The Vextai pilot Morkan planned attack routes with human tactical officers. "The Omega weapons are connected to a central control system on the hegemony capital world," Sarah reported. "If we can capture that system, we can shut them all down." "And if we cannot?" asked Veltar. "Then every rebel world dies, including Earth." Marcus studied the battle plans. The hegemony capital was protected by the largest fleet in the galaxy. Getting close enough to land troops would be nearly impossible. "We have to split our forces," he decided. "Some ships go after the Omega weapons we can reach. The rest come with me to the capital." "That is suicide," Morkan said. "We do not have enough ships to fight the entire hegemony fleet." "Maybe," Marcus replied. "But we have something they do not expect. We have humans willing to die for strangers." Across the galaxy, other human commanders were making similar decisions. Captain Elena Rodriguez led a desperate assault on an Omega weapon near Earth. Commander Chen Wei took his ship toward the weapon, threatening the Kethani homeworld. Each mission was a one-way trip. The humans knew this when they volunteered. At the hegemony capital, Admiral Zexhai stood before the Omega control system. He had been given the honor of activating the weapons that would end the rebellion forever. But as he prepared to enter the activation codes, he felt something he had never experienced before. Doubt. Over the past months, he had studied human military tactics to understand how they had defeated his forces so easily. What he learned had changed his understanding of warfare and of honor. Humans did not fight because they enjoyed killing. They fought to protect those who could not protect themselves. Even when facing extinction, they had split their forces to save other species instead of focusing only on their own survival. This was not how the hegemony operated. The hegemony believed that might made right, that the strong should rule the weak. But the humans had shown the galaxy a different way. The attack on the capital began with a tactic the hegemony had never seen before. Instead of trying to fight through the massive defensive fleet, the human ships flew straight toward the planet, ignoring the enemy vessels completely. They are committing suicide. The hegemony fleet commander reported to Admiral HFY. No, HFY realized. They are buying time. As human ships burned and exploded around them, landing craft broke through the atmosphere and headed for the capital city. The humans were trading their lives for minutes, just to get their assault teams to the surface. Marcus Williams was in the first landing craft to touch down. He led a strike team of 50 humans and 20 aliens toward the Omega Control Center. The hegemony had never fought urban warfare before. Their soldiers were trained for space battles and formal military engagements. They had no experience with the kind of brutal, building-to-building fighting that humans had perfected over centuries. The strike team moved through the city like shadows, using sewers, service tunnels, and abandoned buildings to avoid the main hegemony forces. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other human missions were succeeding against impossible odds. Captain Rodriguez managed to disable the Earth Omega weapon by crashing her ship directly into its control center. The explosion destroyed the weapon, but killed everyone aboard her ship. Commander Chenwei's team successfully shut down the weapon near Kethmar, but only 3 members of his 50-person crew survived the mission. Similar scenes played out on dozens of worlds. Humans, dying to save planets they had never seen, for species they had just met. In the Omega Control Center, Admiral HFY watched the reports come in. Weapon after weapon was going offline. The human missions were working. He looked at the activation key in his hand. One touch, and the remaining weapons would fire. The rebellion would be crushed, and the hegemony would maintain control of the galaxy. But at what cost? Marcus and his team reached the control center as HFY was making his decision. The 2 military commanders faced each other across the room, filled with alien technology. "You are too late, human," HFY said. "I can still activate enough weapons to destroy your homeworld and half the rebel species." "Maybe," Marcus replied, his weapon trained on the alien admiral. "But you will have to go through me first." HFY looked at the human warrior. Marcus was wounded, exhausted, and outnumbered. He had no chance of winning a direct fight, but he was still standing between HFY and the activation controls. "Why?" HFY asked. "Why are you willing to die for species you barely know?" Marcus thought about the question. He thought about Emma, the 12-year-old girl who had killed alien soldiers to protect her family. He thought about the Kethani engineers who had shared their knowledge freely. He thought about the Vex-Tai pilots who had joined humanity's fight without being asked. "Because that is what makes us human," he said finally. "We protect those who cannot protect themselves." Admiral HFY made his choice. Instead of pressing the activation key, he threw it to Marcus. "Then show the galaxy what humanity means," he said. Marcus caught the key and immediately began shutting down the remaining Omega weapons. Sarah Chen, who had been monitoring the situation remotely, confirmed that the weapons were going offline across the galaxy. The immediate threat was over. But the war was not finished. In the days that followed, something unprecedented happened in galactic politics. 3 major hegemony species formally surrendered to the Human Alliance and requested protection from their former partners. The Hegemony Council tried to maintain control, but their empire was collapsing. Species after species chose freedom over security, rebellion over submission. Admiral HFY became an unlikely ally, helping to hunt down the remaining Omega weapons and working to establish a new galactic government. "Why are you helping us?" Sarah asked him during one of their planning sessions. "Because I have seen what honor looks like," he replied, "and I want to learn it." 6 months after the final battle, representatives from over 100 species gathered to sign the Galactic Freedom Charter. The document established a new kind of government based on cooperation rather than conquest. Humanity was offered leadership of the new Galactic Federation, but they declined. "We did not fight this war to become the new rulers," Admiral Williams explained to the Assembly. "We fought so that every species could rule themselves." Instead, the Federation was governed by a rotating council with representatives from all member species. Humans served as peacekeepers and mediators, helping to resolve conflicts between species peacefully. Dr. Sarah Chen established the first galactic university, where species could share knowledge and learn from each other. The university's motto was simple: strength through diversity. 10 years later, Marcus Williams stood in the Memorial Garden on Earth. The garden honored all the humans who had died fighting for galactic freedom. But the largest memorial was not for humans. It was for the 12 species that the humans had failed to save in time. Species that had been destroyed by Omega weapons before the Liberation Fleet could reach them. "We remember them," Marcus said to the gathering of humans and aliens who had come to pay their respects. "We remember them not as failures, but as the reason we continue to fight for freedom wherever it is threatened." Sarah Chen, now Director of Interspecies Relations, joined him at the memorial. "The hegemony is gone, Marcus. The galaxy is free." "For now," Marcus replied. "But freedom is not something you win once. It is something you protect every day." Above them, ships from dozens of species flew in formation over Earth's sky. The planet that had once been hidden from the galaxy was now its beacon of hope. The Deathworlders had awakened, and they had taught the galaxy that the strongest among them were also the most willing to die for others. The galaxy's debt had been settled in blood, but more importantly, it had been paid in sacrifice. And from that sacrifice, a new kind of civilization had been born.